Episode 10. First off, didn't think we'd make it this far. Glad we did. And know that we have said we would have an intro by now. We actually have one. One was made. But when we say that we press record and then press stop, we 100% mean that. And so you may never hear it. But,
it's
here
coming.
it is, episode 10.
It'll be there someday, maybe by 20.
It will be. It will be. I mean, what do you really come for? Like you come for the production value or to hear two degens just degen out about degen things?
Hopefully not the first one.
Exactly. Because that might be absent for quite some time.
Right.
But
so what we got going on lately?
Okay, like we kind of, before we hop in here, we talk a little bit about what's going to go on. But I mean, it has been another kind of, quiet week price action wise. Nothing too crazy popping off.
No, I feel like nothing big has really happened. There's some NFT drama. Maybe not even drama, but just the liquidation stuff from the apes. But there wasn't really anything that jumped out as like, holy shit, what's going on here?
Right. I'd say like price action market wise, it's like another week that, Doom posters are, I guess, the inevitables being delayed in their eyes, where we're not, falling off the face of the earth. So we're kind of just holding at a steady level. But drama wise, oh my God, like the slate is chocked full of topics. This week I think that's kind of like part of the game. It's almost like when there's not price action going on, everyone just results to fighting each other on Twitter.
On the note of price action, do you think that people legitimately thought we were going to hang out at 2K and like crab at 2K?
I think late longers definitely always are like, oh yeah, we're going straight through.
Fair. I wasn't convinced we'd even touch it the first attempt. I thought we'd get like real close and then retrace. I was shocked to even see 2K happen.
Right. And I feel like sometimes when that happens, it's like, oh, it's a guaranteed gonna dip back under because it just wants to like punish those people who are buying the breakout.
Right.
But I don't think there's anything going on that's like really concerning in my head. I mean, obviously the Doom posters every day wake up and think we're going to zero, but that doesn't change anything I'm doing.
What's super fun about this is I don't have like one place I go to check the Ethereum price. I literally just Google Ethereum price every now and then. And the suggested,
Really?
Oh, do it all the time. The suggested, like the people also ask thing on Google is always how much will Ethereum cost in 2030?
Oh my God.
And I can't tell if it's like trying to psyops me into like spending every penny I have into Ethereum.
Does it say something?
It does. It says Ethereum can prove to be a solid investment for 5 to 10 years. 2025 maximum price should be $10,763. It's incredibly precise. And then it goes on to say the expected price of ETH by 2030 is 18,000.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know where these numbers come
Google, because I absolutely worship that.
Right?
But like, where is that coming from? Like, clearly someone working at Google is like, a crypto degen.
Yeah, it's every single time I Google Ethereum price, this is the first thing in the people also ask question.
Interesting. I mean, I'll take it.
I will not be mad. There's also one of what will Shiba be worth in 2030?
$5.
Oh, shoot. A tenth of a penny, so 0.001.
Okay, so there is a little bit of like, how do I say this without getting flamed? But like realisticness to the algorithm. It's not literally like someone changing the Wikipedia page and just saying whatever they wanted to.
Yeah, no, it's getting pulled from various articles from like, this one's from currency.com, whatever that may be.
Okay. Got it. Well, I mean, it's not out of the question in my head. It's just, it's funny. It's always funny when you hear that and you think about it now. It's like, well, that's a no-brainer. Let me just load up on all the ETH I can.
Absolutely. Oh man, could you imagine $18,000 ETH?
I fully can't imagine. And I feel like, this podcast would turn into something reckless.
Oh my God, yeah.
We've always talked about like having like a drinking stream or something like that with people if they wanted to like hang out. And now, wait, okay, so now that could be possible because of like Twitter's new feature that you sent me.
Right, the Twitter Spaces Podcasts edition.
Interesting. So there's obviously some technical things I'm wondering, like, can you like record there and then push it out to all the other platforms, or is this like Twitter trying to assert dominance and have podcasts migrate?
That's a good question. I was gone all day today, so I actually didn't look into it other than like, hey, dude, check this out. Looks awesome. And send a tweet out being like, if this comes out, I'm going to go hard into it.
Oh, for sure. We should pioneer the Twitter podcast space because, I mean, it's right from the source, hop on, have people ask questions, that type of deal. I think we've always talked about like a live stream or something like that, but that might be even more accessible to people who are tuning in.
Oh, it'd be so fun too.
Yeah.
Just to pull people up out of the audience and have them ask or do some asinine thing.
Oh my God, dude. I like love everyone out there on Twitter for the most part, but like that could be extremely, extremely dangerous.
Absolutely. Here's what you do. You make it into a drinking game though, where you have a secret word that anytime someone says that word, we have to drink, but we don't tell anyone what the word is.
Perfect.
So someone would presumably come up and say something after they go down.
Yeah.
We have to take a drink and say the secret word was said.
Oh, I mean, I'm in. Like, let's restart. Are we starting it right now?
It sounds like it. ETH hits 10K, it's happening. ETH hits 18K, it's happening with hard liquor. Oh,
yeah. No, that'll be a fun time. I mean, and again, I don't think it's unrealistic in the slightest. We all know where the space is going. It's tiny still. So it's definitely not off the table.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, so, this week, price action's been, whatever. But the drama, I mean, where do we even begin? Should we begin with the fact that people literally thought we had another Three Arrows Capital type scenario on our hands with people who leveraged against their Bored Apes?
There's no way those apes were ever going to be reclaimed, right? Like that money has to have been lost long ago.
Okay, so let's back up a second. So for people who maybe don't know, there's an NFT like lending platform, and people could, which is crazy in itself, but people could put up their high priced NFTs and then borrow capital against it to, I don't know, go trade or hedge maybe, or, do whatever they want, but borrow the ETH against it. And so like recently, I mean, NFTs have been kind of quiet lately, to put it nicely. Some of the floors started trending down, and then it basically put a ton of these NFTs into like, liquidation territory. And so people were making threads and nonstop tweeting about how this could cause like a whole cascade down type of scenario. But I mean, so let's just, that is like the scenario we're working with here. So like, a lot of the apes in question, I saw a lot of misinformation where it was like, okay, this person just lent 64 ETH against their ape and the floor is 70. They did that because they're not going to get any liquidity for their ape right now. So they just took the free money out of the lending platform and, here's my NFT that's going to be worthless, right? But in actuality, that's not how it works. Most of those people whose loans were in danger right now probably took those loans when the floor was about 150 or 120 per Bored Ape. So yeah, back to what you were saying. Most of that ETH they probably borrowed, most of these people borrowed like 65 to 70 ETH. Up at the top of these JPEGs, the smart decision would have been to like sell the ETH to hedge, right, into stables, and then buy back that ETH now because ETH tanked, and then pay that off. But I can guarantee most did not take the smart route.
Oh, I guarantee almost no one did.
So the most likely scenario is they borrowed that 70 ETH and are thinking JPEGs are going to the moon, and we're buying more with borrowed ETH, and it's gone now, basically.
So where do those liquidated apes go?
So basically, they have auctions, and so people can bid on them, and then it basically, once the bid starts, I believe it triggers the original owner to then have 48 hours, I think it is, to reclaim the NFT by paying off their debts. Otherwise, it'll go to the highest bidder. And so the issue that everyone was kind of like coming to the realization of is that there are so many apes that were close to being liquidated. All these apes weren't going to be bought. And so it was just going to have this cascade of like the floor goes lower because of these auctions where, maybe you snipe it at 50 ETH from an auction, the floor is at 60, you put it at 55 because you'd make 5 ETH. And so that was kind of like the thinking there, but definitely not how it played out.
And now, did we get that cascading liquidations that we thought was going to happen with this falling knife floor?
No. I think the floor dipped down to like 60-ish, maybe even 59 at one point, but then now it's all the way back up to 77.
I actually didn't know it even dipped down. I thought it was always around the 70s.
Yeah, and it was quick. And I don't think that triggers the liquidations because it has to stay there for, I think, a little bit of time for then the auctions to start. And then 48 hours from there. So there's there's kind of some mechanisms in place, but they definitely had to tweak the entire platform because of this event, because people were like pulling out their ETH because they figured all these NFTs were going to end up as bad debt,
right?
Not worth supplying your ETH for people to borrow against, and you earn an APR in return. So the whole marketplace was like drained of all their ETH, and then they made these couple tweaks, and now there's a ton of ETH back in there, and all the loans are looking good from what I can tell. And then the borrowing or the lending rates were like 100% APR on ETH, and so that attracted some ETH back into the platform, and now it's back down to like 3%. So it looks like they remediated the situation like pretty quick.
Do you think we're going to have some sort of NFT lending platform where we get people trying to manipulate it to force liquidations? Like you saw the Bored Ape floor dip down to 59, trying to get that to happen?
I definitely think so. And that's why you need to be careful with like what you base the floor price on. Like, there's only 10,000 NFTs. So it's like in most of these collections. So it's like people could really manipulate that down if they wanted to, if they own a ton of the supply. But there's not a real good way to short these things. So I don't see the reason why you would do that yet until like there's a way to really do that.
Now, when there's a way to short NFTs, now we're talking.
I mean, there's so many financial products being built on top of these things. I mean, I guess you could technically short them now by borrowing the ETH against them. But like, again, they don't let you borrow the full amount that it's worth right now. They let you, like, if the floor is at 70 right now, 75, they'll maybe let you borrow like 30 ETH. So for you to make out on that trade, it has to really, really, really tank.
Have you played with any of these leverage stuff with NFTs yet?
Yeah. I actually use BendDAO, and it's great. So like my ape was in there during all this, but I just didn't really care because my shit's like the ape floor would have to drop to like 9 ETH for me to get liquidated. So I play it like insanely safe, but I'll sometimes like, toss something, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, ETH at like a momentum play real quick. And then, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but then repay it like as I go type deal.
Right. Doing it the smart way.
Right. I mean, I never get in a situation where I'm like, there's no way I could lose this ape, right? Like that would just be terrible. I mean, it's
right.
my quote unquote brand. So, I'm not like trying to be super crazy with it. It was probably crazy enough for me to even put it in there in the first place. But again, I was very, very, very relaxed with it.
I actually got tagged in a tweet today talking about IP rights, and I think you were tagged in the tweet too.
Really?
It had to do with the Trending Down podcast, and I didn't realize that like people see us as someone that's used their apes for IP rights because we made a podcast around their like visual representation.
I did see that. And
like
I was
one-off
actually,
tweet.
I had the realization too. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. I never really thought about it like that.
Neither did I. I was like, oh, I guess we did do that on accident.
Yeah. I mean, look at us.
Woo.
I mean, it's cool. Like, basically I think it was like a thread where people were trying to round up all the people who have done things with their NFTs,
Right.
commercially or whatever. But I didn't think we fall in that category, but it was cool to see.
I also got a DM today in the same vein of the podcast, just kind of talking about how need more episodes, just trying to fill a commute time, but a lot of curiosity around our like backgrounds in real life and how we got here today. I thought we covered that in episode 1, but I might have misremembered.
Interesting. I know we have talked about doing that, but I don't know if we actually like dove in. I think we dove into maybe our crypto journey, but not how we like landed on that crypto journey.
Yeah, I don't remember. We might need to do that in a future episode. We need to go back, listen to episode 1 and say, did we do this?
Yes. If the people want it, I will give it to them for sure. I mean, it was a hell of a journey. Let me tell you that right now. But yeah, I think that would be a good episode. Most people could probably, somewhat relate to or, put themselves into as well.
God, my favorite part of the journey, and I will never find this text again, but I got a text from somebody in 2018 about XRP. And it was some statistic that like, if you purchased like 10,000 cans of Budweiser and drank all the cans and then returned all the cans for like the deposit, you would still have less money than if you had put like $1,000 into XRP. It was some funny statistic that made you like really realize like how far the coins had fallen. And I wish I could find it again.
I mean, that is legendary. We need to find that.
I'm looking for it right now. Oh, holy shit, it was really easy to find.
Perfect.
If you bought $1,000 worth of XRP in January, it'd be worth $79 now. If you bought $1,000 worth of Bud Light in January, drank all the beer, and traded in the cans for a nickel deposit, you would also have $79.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
It's from October 2018. And that shaped me as a person.
And we appreciate that. So shout out to that tweet. You might have to retweet that one day.
Honestly, I'm going to find something similar to tweet about it tonight.
Immediately.
I already started doing math in my head of like, all right, how does that map up?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, the journey, I mean, a year in crypto literally feels like 10 years. So
God, yeah.
Like the journey before that, oh my God, I don't even remember life back then. It's like life before crypto. What? I mean, obviously.
It was less stressful.
Oh, dude, it's just nonstop. The space is, you literally can't take a break no matter what.
No.
But it's fun, I mean, it's kind of, I always am like, yeah, it's like playing an MMO, but there's like real life money to it.
I worked with somebody that actually called life an MMO, and he'd always refer to things like getting EXP.
Oh my God.
And I was like, man, I really hate that like analogy, but it makes total sense.
Right.
Like, he'd be working on some random task. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just like leveling up my bash skill.
Oh my God.
What? And he's like, yeah, think about it. And I was like, no. I don't want to think about it.
Just going full turbo nerd with it, basically.
And it made total sense, though.
Yeah,
it made perfect sense. And I was like,
no, we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Let's see who's laughing now, right? Like
exactly.
The nerds are on top. Let's be real.
Dude, that's the funny part. When all the COVID lockdowns happened and everyone thought the world was ending, all my buddies were hitting me up like, hey, like, what should I do in my free time? Like, what project should I build to get better at coding? And I was like, just jump into crypto, man. Like, you've got a full year probably to sit here and learn nothing but crypto.
Right.
And turns out it was the most lucrative thing anyone could have ever done.
Did anyone take you up on that?
Hell no.
Okay. See, there you go. That's the problem, is that there is a learning curve. And if I think for whatever reason, some people just like, they'll read a couple articles and be hooked, dude. Like you can't get them off of it. Like, that was kind of my experience. But then there's people who just have absolutely no interest, and it's like they show up maybe when the bull run is going crazy, and it's like, whoa, they hear crazy stories on MSNBC or whatever it is. But it's wild that, how much of a paradox that is.
Oh, dude, yeah. And I was telling people that, like, man, probably deep into the stuff too. Like, we might have been at 1,500 ETH before the big run up to like 3,000. People are like, holy shit, man, 3K. So there's a long runway there to really make it lucrative.
Right.
But instead, I think everyone just kept playing video games. It was like, this is better.
Of course, like they've always have better things to do. You don't need much to start in this space. Like, you could literally, there is a path to having zero money, zero skin in the game, and just like farming airdrops of upcoming, like layer 1 blockchains or, new protocols or whatever it is, just going on and researching and finding these airdrops and then turning that into like trading money and then turning that into something bigger. Like, if you make the connections, all that stuff. I mean, as we've talked about, it takes literally one NFT too. So there's always a chance. You don't need a ton of money to get into this space.
Do you remember those early conversations we had about Bored Apes, and you were like, you got to buy an ape, and I was like, no, I have to trade up to it?
Yeah.
That's Bender. The whole concept of Bender and the Bender wallet started with 0.1 ETH. And I was so dead set on being like, I'm not going to just inject more money into NFTs. I'm going to trade all the way up.
That's such a good
totally
mindset.
Doable. Yeah, and it protected everything. Like, any loss that happened, I was like, well, it was just all the house's money. Like, all the other crypto money is sitting in DeFi stuff or in other wallets.
Right. And the other thing, though, like, is that you were having a good time and you were playing, kind of with such a small amount, but that you had an end goal. And so you weren't sticking into things of like, oh, this is going to 100 ETH, like that type of mindset. You would flip, right? And then trade and work your way up, instead of this like, okay, this is my one thing I'm going to buy and hold type deal.
Exactly. It all started as the 100 ETH challenge or whatever it was, of taking 0.1 ETH to 100 ETH.
That's such a wild goal. I mean, during the NFT craze, like, that was run of the mill.
Yeah, it was fun too. And then as it starts happening, you're like, damn, okay, I can afford this stuff now that I was trying to flip up to, but do I really want it at this point?
Right. You kind of get a feel for the space and all that, but ton of fun. Okay, wait. So going back, BendDAO, whatever. We talked about that. But while the sort of dancing on the grave of Bored Apes party was going on, there was another NFT that was absolutely taking over the timeline and just booming. We've talked about it.
Oh, we've talked about it.
We talked about it plenty, actually, now I think about it. That should have been the alpha segment, because that was definitely alpha. We were talking about that before the run up, or maybe when it was just starting.
It was so obvious too.
Right. This is penguins.
This is, yes, pudgy penguins.
Pudgy penguins.
Anytime that the entire narrative of the timeline is centered around one thing, it's almost a sure win.
Right.
If you get there first, or not even first, but like early enough. And again, take that same mindset that we just talked about, right? Where it's like, don't marry the bag. And, I saw people doing like TA on it, and like, long term, like, okay, sure. Like, there could be something long term there, but if you could have ridden the hype and made a good trade out of it. Oh yeah. And there was so much time. I had sent like 2 or 3 tweets to Kaleo saying, stop. Like, I don't want to buy these. And like, you're giving me FOMO.
I know. I mean, it took everything in me to not hop on the train.
Yeah. And I can't get on it after not buying them at 0.02. I just can't do it.
Oh my God.
You were there. You were there for that conversation.
Yeah. Everyone, I mean, dude, that was like during a time when I just didn't think that other like NFTs could have a crazy run. And I just was like in that mindset, being like, I'm not getting waxed again on this or whatever. But oh man, they definitely had a run over the past couple weeks. I mean, what was it? The person bought the facing left penguin for 400 ETH, aka $700,000.
Crazy.
Yeah, people on the timeline absolutely roasting this guy. At the end of the day, if it's your money, you can do whatever you want. So, I'm not going to sit here and knock that, but holy smokes, that's a lot of cash.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be the one to do that.
No. So that's when I think about, like, do people really not know about DeFi? Because I'm all I can think of is like, oh, if I had 700K in GMX, like that would be sitting pretty nice. Or 700. I mean, just there's so many different things I could rattle off, but there's like ways you could basically come close, depending on your lifestyle, to like living off that, just the yield, or at least, putting it in some pretty, solid bets going into whenever the next bull run is. I mean, shit, you could put all that in ETH and be pretty chilling.
Right. Like, I don't see the profit side of that 400 ETH trade.
Yeah.
Not yet. I mean, it's like a long-term bet that will maybe pay off. Like, it'll pay off a decent chunk of cash, but
I mean, okay, so this might be me in the mindset of like why I didn't buy Pudgies, at 0.02, right? Just being like, I'm going to get waxed and I'm just throwing away money. But these licensing deals on NFTs, I'm still not even sold on all that, even though I am seeing them in the wild. Like, M&M's came out with a Bored Ape licensing deal, right? It was $100 for a box of M&Ms, but they're all like Bored Apes, and I think they send you on like a treasure hunt. Maybe I didn't look too far into it, but there are people that are wheeling and dealing and obviously getting paid like good money for the licensing rights to their NFTs. So maybe I'm sleeping on it.
I mean, yeah, I've gotten a few DMs from people and talked to some people about like Bored Ape agents, which is something I'd never thought I'd say. But just someone who goes out there and like tries to get a licensing deal for your ape essentially and represents your ape.
There's a marketplace, right?
No, I did not.
There's literally, I found this the other day. There's a marketplace where you can list your ape and the licensing terms, and then like the amount of time and the amount of ETH you would want. And you can do like 30 days, 60 day, 90 day, etc.
What?
And then you can put how much ETH it would cost for them to license it for that amount of days. And someone, there was a crown ape with a pirate patch. I think his name's Blackboard.
King Blackboard.
Yeah. He was actually one of the first ones. That's how I found the platform, because he tweeted like, "Oh, my ape just got license deal for," I think it was 12 months. So, but like I think it was close to 100 ETH.
What?
Yeah. And I cannot confirm that, because I think when the deal, basically like on the licensing page, all his prices were gone because it was taken off or X'd out or whatever. But I was looking at everyone else's prices, and that's kind of the going rate, if you will. So that is wild. Even if it was 25, 50 ETH, like that for a year, that is crazy.
Just to hold an NFT, if you don't plan to sell it, yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's interesting, like what it would get used for. And then if you're like not into that type deal, but still, I guess if it's bringing home 25, 50, even 100 ETH, who cares?
Yeah.
But maybe you have to go check out that platform. I forget the name of it right now, but if I think of it.
I'm already looking. I'm scrolling down his feed trying to find it.
Dude, you're so good about that. Like, I cannot multitask on this podcast. Like,
no? Oh, dude, half the content of things I bring up are something I've seen and it's popped into my head.
I mean, I'll literally like flip over to the timeline real quick, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, what are we talking about?
Really?
Yeah, it's just not possible. So I was like, the thought of trying to look up that platform is essentially a no-go for me. but I'm sure you're about to stumble upon it here.
I'm hunting for it. Some of the apes on the kingship M&Ms I recognize.
Okay,
I don't know who they are though.
It's interesting to be like, I wonder how much they got, you know?
Oh, I'm gonna straight up ask. If I can figure out who the apes are, I'm asking.
Right? And then
100%.
how do you facilitate that? Is it, you know, maybe someone in that space becomes an NFT fan and then like, you know, has the in to get their ape on and then that whole deal? Or is it like they were truly out there hustling? Like that's the part that I'm lost on. Am I just being lazy, or are people out there like grinding to get these deals?
I think probably both. I think there's someone on the M&M side that's looking and like kind of dipping their toes into the NFT stuff, and then someone else on the NFT side that is grinding and trying to get that licensing deal.
It's just wild.
Like, because there's no way that you're like cold calling M&M. Like, it's either you're right, there's an in that someone has, or someone has a job there that's like, hey, these are kind of having a moment, explore that.
You literally write into M&M customer support being like, hey, by the way, check out my Bored Ape.
I applied to Apple a long time ago, and my cover letter was all about fixing Siri and autocorrect, so it would stop fixing the F word into duck.
They denied that.
Oh, I got denied so fast.
I mean, that seems like a slam dunk. I don't think there's one single person on the planet that wouldn't appreciate that.
That's what I thought. They, however, did not want me.
Their loss.
Exactly, man. I bet they read that cover letter and was like, this guy is deranged. No.
Yeah. They probably like, you wrote this whole thing with Siri and then everything was autocorrected.
It just says ducking all through it. This is ducking stupid. I can't find this platform, but damn, if I could.
It's all good. It's all good. It's out there somewhere. If you find it, tag us or whatever. But the penguins, I mean, we can't hop on now, right? It's just, it feels like the ship has sailed, and my hesitation is it's a CT based NFT. I can't do it.
Yeah. Everything CT based is always rode a wave, and then the wave has disappeared very fast.
And okay, so maybe they hit a 4 ETH floor or something. I think I don't even know, but they'll dump back now. Okay, 3.5. That's not bad. I saw them dump back down to 3, you know, but I don't want to be the one who buys it 4 and then they dump back down to 1. And then what? I'm holding for 6, like I'm not going to hold for 6-7 months, a pudgy penguin. And so I don't have like the extra capital that I'm willing to commit to something like that. And so then I'm in a situation where I just wear the L. And then of course, you know, 7-8 months later, the same group does their little shill campaign. And they start going through the roof, and I might get flamed for that because I know everyone was like, no, dude, we're not pumping them and all that stuff. Like, I think there was an organic aspect in a sense, but they were all over the timeline. So
everywhere, man.
I mean, it was big non-stop for multiple days. So I don't know. I'm not even gonna go in too deep there, but not something I probably plan on owning. But you know, no hate to them for sure. I think they caught a lot of flack, but I don't hate it.
No, that's my thing. Like, I don't need to be in the trade, but I am pumped for the people that were.
Right.
Like, hell yeah.
How could you be mad at that?
Yeah, like it doesn't hurt me to be happy about it.
Right. I mean, you know, people making money. What it is. Of course, you know, there's times where you could be like, yeah, I wish I would have got in early or whatever, but there's always another opportunity in this space.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
so yeah. I think the lesson here is if you see it all over the timeline, this worked perfectly for the rare ape Pepes. If other people in a group of other people are willing to pump NFTs for you, there's no reason not to ride the wave if you get on the wave in time.
Yeah, I agree. And the NFT game's a little different than a coin because sometimes that game is a dangerous situation. Maybe it's just a shorter time frame when people are like full shill mode on a coin. But you know, NFTs, it's like it does take a little bit of time for it to fully get going.
Yeah, because you've got floors that dump real quick, not as much liquidity, and you have to have like a few buy walls to get through to really get that escape velocity to somewhere new.
Right.
Like it took Penguins 2-3 weeks.
Right. Of non-stop chatter on the timeline. So
Oh yeah.
From huge accounts, like the biggest accounts in the game. I mean, if you're listening to the podcast, you already know. So
right. But that's the easiest alpha ever. Like if someone's willing to go to bat for the NFTs for you and you don't need to do anything besides buy them and sit there quietly, win-win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you kind of see like the trickle down, right? Where it's like, I think the true alpha could be like, all right, let me buy this other NFT that they're in that they've talked about before they start loop shilling that into their current wave.
Right.
You know, that is like another way to play it too.
It'll be interesting to see what comes of it too. Like everyone has a plan here. Like you buy in, you have an exit. Where's the exit?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a good community. They're about positivity and all that stuff. And it's a penguin. So like, I'm for
cute.
that. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like how could you be mad at it? And there are people who are mad at it, which is like beyond me. I think it's funny how much people care about other people's opinions on an app where you share your opinions. But, so be it.
The Bird app, man. People go nuts for it.
Dude, it'll get you. It'll get you in your emotions, but it is what it is, I guess.
It's also the most entertaining app I've ever seen.
For sure. I'm not huge in social media and stuff like that, but there's something about Twitter that keeps you going back. I think it's the mix of like, current events that pop up randomly, maybe some alpha here and there, and then the drama.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the drama goes hard. TikTok is the only thing I've seen rival it because it feels like there are no rules on TikTok sometimes.
So do people go back and forth though? Because I feel like on Twitter, it's like, okay, yeah, this is like someone I've interacted with and I don't know how to say this, a quote unquote relationship online with them type deal, or like, they're an acquaintance now, and then you kind of go to bat for them in the comments. But does TikTok have that kind of aspect?
Oh, I have no idea. I get all my TikTok secondhand because I refuse to download the app. I'm too damn stubborn.
I clearly, as you could tell, not on it. But I've seen the videos, of course. I'm not fucking.
Oh my God, man. I watched like 10 videos of some guy training to run on all four as like a human.
Oh my God.
There are no rules on TikTok sometimes, I swear to God.
I mean, no, I think you're right with that. There's clearly no rules there.
No.
It's the Wild West. I mean, speaking of saying whatever you want, being the Wild West, am I the king of transitions now with this? But
it's pretty good.
BitBoy?
Oh my God, yeah. Okay, yeah. To give us a rundown on BitBoy, I didn't follow this. I just saw a bunch of pictures of him hit the timeline one day.
Okay, so you and I have talked about this type of situation before where it's like we don't understand how, the XRPs and the Cardanos get such a bid from like the normies, if you will, and how like that phenomenon goes. But then we've talked about BitBoy on this podcast. So I was low key scared for a second because he's been handing out lawsuits left and right to, I believe, just other YouTubers, but anyone who really like talks shit about him, he'll straight up send a lawsuit for like defamation or slander or whatever it is. And so he's been going on the timeline, and I don't follow him because I don't really give a shit, but it's hard not to see like the drama quote tweeted all over the timeline. And so he's been going on and on about like, don't come at me. All I take is W's. If you want to mess with me or talk about me, like better come correct, like all that type of stuff. Gloating, I will sue you into the ground, that whole thing. So anyway, another YouTuber got a lawsuit from BitBoy. I don't know the exact reason, but I assume it was calling him out for some of the bullshit he talks about.
He sounds like a great guy.
Yeah, great experience for the people who are just finding about crypto to watch. But if you're into that, so be it. I would just say take what he says with a super grain of salt and like maybe start there and then dive in and do your own research, because he is a Ripple and a Cardano maxi. And that's like, if you're in the game, that is all you need to know about his situation. So regardless, someone on the timeline, YouTuber was like, hey, I got sued by BitBoy and I don't have the money to fight it. So I'm, kind of reaching out on a limb here. If anyone wants to donate to, here's the address. Beauty of crypto. Anyone can donate. So Kobe gets tagged in the tweet and he says, okay, 1 second, not at my PC. And then immediately goes, okay, sent over 100K.
Amazing.
Legend, right?
Yeah, wow.
So people are then just roasting BitBoy, being like, you're such a scrub, bringing out all the like old call outs of, old videos, old tweets, and just like roasting this guy for all the bad calls he's made. And the next day he drops the lawsuit. And obviously the guy, he's like, hey, I'm going to refund everyone the money. And, Kobe gets in his tweets and he's like, keep some of it for a vacation. So moral story, Kobe's a great guy. BitBoy's clearly not, but what a wild little situation.
Wow. It honestly sounds like to me that BitBoy took a bunch of bad trades in the market and has lost on them and is just struggling to cope. Like, it seems like an emotional response from like a place of anger and pain.
Right. I mean, everyone has their breaking point of taking, shit online, but at that point you should probably just not even look at it. Like, if the comments are really affecting you. But yeah, like going to the point of suing people when you got to figure his YouTube thing, like okay, let me go back to it. But we've talked about how he's accepted like 30K for shilling coins before.
Right.
And how someone paid him and like, set up billboards and all this stuff and like was like, made good money on that.
Right.
He denies that. And so anyone who brings that up, he sends a lawsuit. So that was kind of like the basis. But it's just wild how it's like, dude, you probably raked in so much cash off of shilling garbage. And, you have this YouTube thing that's massive. You're one of the biggest players in the space. I mean, there's no way you're not like hurting or you're hurting for cash. Like there's just no way. But to send people lawsuits, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. If you go through his tweets lately in the past week, whoo, it reads like a middle school, like 7th graders, like late night, like in their feelings tweets.
I mean, there was times where I think he'll be like, oh man, reflecting that last tweet was really my worst one, like my worst tweet ever. And then it's like, okay, you could probably say that every other tweet, my guy.
I feel like every tweet I tweet is my worst tweet
right?
ever.
It's like, dude, come on. It was great to see the community rally and not like for once like be at each other's throats.
Yeah, we don't have a villain right now. We usually always have a villain, and there's no villain yet.
Nope, but I think the merge might cause some serious shenanigans.
You think we'll get a good villain out of that? We can all rally behind.
There's a little squad, trying to rally for the proof of work, like fork chain, trying to start some drama there. So there may be a villain that comes out of there.
Weren't they doing something a little mischievous with the ETH Foundation's wallet with that proof of work fork?
I haven't seen that, but I know that they were offering they were saying that they would take, what was it, $7.5 million for their consulting services to whoever, like either the proof of work chain or the proof of stake chain, aka the Ethereum Foundation.
Wow.
But okay, speaking of this, so we have the merge coming up. It's I think the Beatrix chain, basically like a test chain, happens on September 6th, and then anywhere between September 10th and the 20th is the merge, probably around the 16th, but it depends on the block time. And so, going into that, the Ethereum Foundation put out a bounty, right? You do security bounties. It's like, if you find a bug, we'll pay you X amount. Ethereum is obviously massive, as we know, and they put out a $1 million bounty.
That seems low.
Extremely low in my head because, okay, the merge is something that could, I mean, worst case scenario, right? They've been testing it a ton, okay? So I don't want to be like the doomer guy here, but it is a huge event.
Right.
A ton of work has been going on leading up to this. So much testing, like the fact that they haven't delayed it, like we've been talking about this since the podcast started, and we, basically thought there was going to be a delay. So the fact that they haven't shows that they're really confident, right? These are smart people. This is all they do. But this is such a massive, massive thing. It's like there's billions of dollars on the line. I think if someone found something critical, you could probably offer up more than $1 million.
Is $1 million maybe the base price of if you find a bug, you get $1 million? If you find a bug that 10x's everyone's Ethereum going into the merge, you might get a little more than $1 million?
They said $1 million flat. And I know, so if you're in the game, you know how it is with people finding bugs. Like it is kind of this cat and mouse thing of like everyone wants to find a bug and they report everything hoping they get some sort of money. So I get trying to disincentivize just a flood of people trying to poke and prod and find something or anything to get a little bit of cash. And then they cause drama if they don't, of course. But, for a super severe bug, I think it was like max of $1 million. And so that to me was just like a little off. I mean, they dumped $660 million on our heads at the top. So
yeah, they did do that. Yeah, we saw that.
Toss back $5 million. You know what I mean? Like that's a sizable chunk if someone finds a bug for a 200 plus $1 billion blockchain.
Do you think that continues to be an exit signal of Ethereum Foundation sold ETH? Everyone get out.
You gotta think they've been absolutely nailing those trades.
But it's such a huge event. Like, at what point does that stop being a bear signal?
Right.
Never.
I would love to know how much left they have.
It better be a lot. Otherwise, this whole ETH to 10K thing is really going to piss me off if they're like, it's actually not going to ever hit more than 1,000.
Oh my God, dude, get out of here. But yeah, you hope they're managing it correctly. But again, the foundation is we wouldn't be anywhere without all these devs putting in their time. And, I remember there for a while, it was like core devs are not being paid at all because people would rather go start up their own little decentralized protocol or, whatever it is and make on the ICO boom. It was like quick 100 mil.
Right.
There was no incentivizing for working on the actual Ethereum chain. So I think it's been a good shift there. But it is interesting if that'll keep being a signal for tops of the current cycle or whatever it is.
You'd imagine it'd have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know when that would ever change. You'd have to have some big follow-up event.
Who makes that call though? Is Vitalik getting on the line being like, yo, just sell it all right now.
Pump it down.
Hey, we've run up. They have a good read on things, right? So I think they kind of know when it's like, ooh, we're up in the 4K range. I don't know if I think one of his most famous quotes was like, have we earned it? Like, have we earned where we're at? Type deal. And so he maybe asks himself up on those mania events, like, have we earned this yet? This 4K per Ethereum price tag? No? Okay, let's sell. And then, so hopefully he lets it ride to 10K.
I mean, that's a very good question to ask when you're about to sell.
Right.
Will I ever ask myself that? No, not once.
No, I don't think I'll do that.
No, it couldn't be.
Yeah. No, it's too much fun just thinking that it's going to go to 10 and then 20 and then 30, of course.
Okay, so Kobe gives this guy back to BitBoy $100,000 to fight the BitBoy lawsuit.
Yep.
Damn. I don't know what it is about Kobe, but I like him. Like, I see him on Up Only, and he looks like a really nice, likable guy. And then he does stuff like this, and I'm just like, damn, you are a nice, likable guy.
How many, the thought of just sending someone 100K, would love to be on that level. I mean, he's been in this game. You know, he's been in the scene since the beginning, from what I've gathered.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you hit it massive on Bitcoin, then you hit it massive on Ethereum because you're there for the ICO. And then, you know, he was part of Lido, the staked ETH protocol, at the beginning. So, which is, you know, booming right now. I don't think he's fully involved anymore, but that's enough to get your allocation and make out like a bandit. It helped him out, of course. I mean, but you know, that's just like 3 things. So yeah, the dude is definitely a legend in the space, and it's kind of wild. He still like has a weekly podcast.
What's also crazy too is that all of his both technical and financial and just like overall market thoughts are spot on.
Yeah, and I think we touched on that last episode, being like, you know, this guy's almost Nostradamus when it comes to the crypto industry. And we also kind of were like, maybe he just puts out everything he thinks and then, you know, you can retweet it. But if you've been in this space, I mean, even, you know, myself coming up on, I think close to 6, maybe even 7, I don't know. But there it is. It's, you know, crypto time warps you. But, you know, you kind of just pick up on things that maybe most don't. And you kind of do get this like gut feeling about some things. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I don't either. It has like the staying power. It's like Akuma. It's like Akuma came out at NFTs. And everyone was like, this is one of those things.
Right.
And it gigapumped. And then other guys saw Pudgies at 0.02 and said, this is one of those things.
I know. Well, it's funny because the episode with Functions, like, he's just a savant at picking that type of stuff. But if you see him, he also just throws at a ton of different things. So it's like this like fine line between spray and pray on projects and then, you know, really finding the ones that are going to hit.
Right. And I do spray and pray quite a lot. I do a lot of spray and pray
in the NFT scene right now, right? Like a free mint meta and all that stuff. It's like if you're not spraying and praying, I mean, it's such a toss up in my head of what hits.
Yeah, it really comes down to community right now. I feel like even like Hello Kitty sold out incredibly fast today.
Oh wow! Okay, so we did talk about that on the last one. I actually got some info sent to me from someone on Twitter. So shout out to you. You probably listen to this. What's good? So it sold out completely and it's like mooning right now because I obviously missed out.
I wouldn't say mooning, but it's definitely not under mint price. So that's good.
Okay. So it did have a mint price though. It
had a mint price of $100 for a suitcase. I don't know if you get one NFT in the suitcase or 2 or 3.
Was there a cap or like what was the supply?
5K for public, and I was sitting at like 3 minutes before 2 p.m. Eastern waiting to mint these. And then
hold on, babe, I gotta mint this Hello Kitty.
Dude, this is what happened. I shit you not. She walks up to me and starts talking about something in like 10-minute conversation, and I look back and the Hello Kitty like team had tweeted out a tweet that they were sold out.
Oh my God. Literally missed out on generational wealth on Hello Kitties because of this conversation, babe. What are you thinking?
Right? I faded it completely. I was like, whatever. There'll be more.
I mean.
But it was instant, man. Like, boom, out of my head. And then the minute the conversation ended, I said, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing something.
Yeah.
But so they minted for $100. I think they're like a 0.12 floor. So they're north of 100. Profitable, 5K supply for public. I think it was like 4K for private or whatever it's called, allow list.
Okay.
So it feels like the free mint meta is slowly dying. And I say this as I minted like 40 free something or others earlier today.
Well, of course you did.
Of course I did. Promptly to 0.
But, oh my God, like that's just the thing, like Hello Kitty. It's like, I mean, why would I fade that? Because, 0.12 is like $200. So that's basically 100% in less than a minute.
Yeah, and they're damn cute.
Of course they are. But there's demand there. So it's just like there is literally always opportunity. And And sometimes you just continue to fade it because, you think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the hard part for this kind of space, and everything from DeFi to NFTs. There's always opportunity, but you're also always saying there's no way this could be it.
Right.
And most of the time, you're right.
It truly is like, finding your lane of like, okay, am I going to be the person that turns my brain off and just goes full like, oh, this should pump because it's Hello Kitties? Or are you going to go like, I'm going to do my research and find something I believe in, and however long it takes, like that type of approach. I think there is the argument where you can, kind of go right in the middle, but it's wild. It's wild how many different ways there are to make money and how many different approaches.
Infinite ways.
Right.
There's also infinite ways to lose that same money.
Yeah. Speaking of losing and making money though, should I just fucking be like a professional subject changer?
You're doing well, and it's bothering me. It's so good.
The alpha segment. So people have been loving it. It's kind of funny because it's a segment that you can't really, if we're in a bull run mania, it's going to be fun because we could just toss shit out and be like, oh yeah, and it's going to hit. But it's been pretty good lately and people have been loving it.
Yeah, it's hit well in the bear market.
But there's not always a ton to talk about.
No, because you don't need to be in every trade. You just need to be in trades that win. Right.
So we mentioned Canto last time, and it's doing great. I mean, the Atom Cosmos ecosystem is catching a heavy bid right now. It looks like, I don't know, I'm excited about it. I'm still holding that. But again, like this isn't something you should like all in,
No.
But is there anything on the NFT front people should be excited about or looking forward to? I mean, I know you sent me one of those mints that like people are starting to pay a little ETH for some of these projects again, and that's good to see.
Man, I'm still waiting for Ether, which is
okay.
It's literally at Ether. I don't know how they got the handle.
That's wild.
I know, right? Like, what a phenomenal Twitter handle.
Right.
That's what I'm watching the most. Valhalla is still out there trying to cultivate a very quiet yet small and exclusive community.
Mm-hmm.
The Izu one that just happened yesterday, I think they shot themselves in the foot a little bit. I would have previously said that was probably a good one to watch, but right now it seems more like they did too many bad moves in a row that burned them. So there's not a whole lot I'm watching right now. Just kind of patiently waiting, taking free mints that, go from free to 0.0001.
Right.
And then putting them in the hidden folder.
Of course.
But man, not a lot. Nothing I'm really looking at yet.
Have you heard of DigiDaiku or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because was that a free mint?
Yeah, it was. It was free mint, and I missed it just barely. And then I saw it at like 1 ETH and was like, how did you miss this? How are you so bad at these NFT things?
Free mint, and it popped to 1 ETH.
It's at 4.4 today.
How much supply?
Let me look. I was just looking at it earlier.
I'm going to get so heated if this is 10K.
Oh, you're going to be pissed.
Perfect.
Are you prepared to be mad?
Yeah.
Oh, it's only 2K.
Okay. Still. Because I saw someone, I think it was Keyboard Monkey, and he was like, this was minted for free. Then it sold for 0.8 ETH, and then it just sold for 59 ETH.
Holy shit.
And I'm just thinking, like, how am I mean, I fully know how I'm missing out on these, but still, it's just, it goes back to, like, there is literally always an opportunity. But I don't know how I would have even known. I still don't know what it is. So it's just crazy.
It is. It's watching the NFT nerds minting section, man. Like,
is that the alpha?
Yeah, like if you just open the minting section, pop it in a window on the right, and when you see mints pop off, get a few of them.
Okay, because I went to, like, I forget what site it was, but it basically showed a minting activity page, and it just had the contracts listed. Like a bunch of numbers and letters, and I'm like, this doesn't help me at all. I need to at least see a name, like, ghostly goblins or whatever. But I don't know. I at least need to see a little something. I mean, not that Digidaiku would have gotten me to mint, but
right. Okay, fast food Pudgies is minting right now.
Oh my god! Of course it is. I've seen Pepe Pudgies. I've seen Mutinate Pudgies. You know what? We have to do an episode of like exposing that derivative factory, because I know we have said this, but there's definitely a handful of people just cranking those out, and I really don't understand how they do them so fast.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because they spin up the art and it looks decent, and it's like, how did you do that so fast?
The fast food wave that came like early 2021, I get, because they're just adding
slap a hat.
Yeah, they're just adding a hat to everything and reminting it. Makes total sense. It's like,
but these mutant ones,
30 minutes of work.
How did you make these Pudgies into mutants so fast?
I know, that's the impressive part. You know what it probably is? They might be. Are
they using like AI software? There's no way, right?
No, okay. No way. They probably just have to remake one of the bodies, and then all the traits just fit. That's my guess. It depends how it looks, right?
There is a whole industry behind that, though. Catching royalties real quick like that, rotating. We've talked about it, but
oh yeah, these free mitts have like 10% royalties. If they get 150 ETH of volume in their like 24-hour cycle, 15 ETH for an hour of work, worth it.
Right, and so there are for sure teams just cranking that out, and that is like.
Absolutely.
Always what fascinates me. It's like, who is running those little cartels, basically?
A cartel.
Right? I mean, North Korea, basically. It's what it's sounding like.
Dude, it's someone, and they are printing.
Oh, they're printing. They're good at it, and you can't knock it. But so, yeah, it looks like, I don't know, maybe NFTs are popping off. But again, like we've said, we got the merge coming up. That's kind of where the energy is like focused on right now, I think.
Yeah, right now really isn't the time to be degen minting things that don't have a purpose.
Right.
Or like that cost money that don't have a purpose. So like fast food Pudgies that are minting right now. If they're free, pick them up. Why not? Who cares? Gas is going to cost you like $3. But spending like 0.5 ETH for like a derivative or like some project, unless you can kind of guarantee you're going to make a profit off that, I probably wouldn't take the bid.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's tough to branch outside of ETH in general right now. Even like, talking about Canto or something, it's like, I'm not allocating a huge amount of the portfolio there. I'm still heavy Arbitrum, to be honest. But like, what's funny about all this is you think about something like Solana, and their whole NFT like ecosystem is just completely detached from the merge and anything ETH. Like they have DeGods that K Money talked about on here, and like they're popping off.
Oh yeah, well they're behind Utes.
Right. So they have this whole ecosystem that they're creating, but it's like the merge and all that shit is just like over their head. You know what I mean? Like they're not even thinking about it, which is crazy because in ETH world, that's all like we're living for right now.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck, which is wild, because then does that mean that like they're unaffected by the merge? Like surely they are. If ETH goes up, Solana should go up, which means maybe NFT prices go down?
Right. I mean, you would think that you're in the space, you pay attention. But it is crazy how like there is a full-blown community being created on Solana. And, as much as I personally make fun of the blockchain over there, and like, don't get me wrong, when it was popping off, I was in there making money, but it's just wild to see, and you can't like knock something like that. And you got to take note of those type of things when there is a community brewing that's going to make their presence known there. Generally means probably will do well in the long term.
Absolutely. Like I stand by saying that you can't fade Solana, whether it's NFTs or the coin, over the next like 2 years going into the next bull. It just feels like you have to have Solana somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, picking it up if we get another dip or something like that is probably not a bad idea for the long term, of course. But you could go over there and be, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of early on the NFT scene. I mean, it's getting a ton of hype, obviously, but I still don't feel like there's a ton of players over there.
No, not really. And DeGod's kind of run the entire show. They've cornered the whole market, which makes it worse for me because I had that goddamn honorary and I didn't get it. It's now burned permanently.
Oh my God.
So I really wish they didn't succeed because I can't take the like mental punches I get every time I see them cross the timeline.
Right. Of course.
But yeah, it's hard to not be early over there in my opinion because they really came to life halfway through the Ethereum NFT bull run and never really finished their bull run. They kind of like started to brew and then got caught up in all the downfall of Luna and the collapse of the entire blockchain, and we all thought we were going to die.
Right.
So then Solana just kind of went with it, and they've now entered their own little bear market, but they're kind of having a moment.
Yeah, that was like the crazy part to me is that even through all the doom and gloom, it still felt like anyone that migrated over there and called that home, and kind of like, how I think about it is they wrote off Ethereum a bit, have been like just flourishing and not even thinking about what's going on in the markets and just concerned with Solana and the NFT scene.
Yeah, I think it all came from the Ethereum gas prices being way too high.
Oh yeah,
isn't that where a lot of the Solana bids came from? Of saying it's way too high to have NFTs over here. Like it costs you $100 to mint one. How's that feasible?
And now we're over here just rocking, single digit Gwei every day.
Yeah, I minted 10 NFTs earlier for 0.0001 or something. It was like $2.
I mean, it's truly beautiful, and I'm convinced layer 2s have something to at least help with the problem. Obviously, it's not retail mania, and it's all basically whoever's on Twitter is the only people in the game right now. But still, it's nice to see.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we're good with that. I mean, so should we tease some potential guests we have lined up?
Yeah, let's hear it. You told me you had some people roaring to go.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be on Market Capping, which is with Small Cap Scientist and DCF God, on early next week. And they talked about coming on here, and there's some, super legends in the DeFi scene. So that would be cool to get them on.
Ooh, okay. So we get a little more DeFi action over here.
Yeah, we've had our run with NFTs, and so maybe we'll get a little DeFi in the mix.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll line that up, and I'm sure we'll drop some more NFT people in here because you can't fade the scene.
No, I got a few people lined up. It's just kind of about, when we're ready for it, when it's time to mix it in again.
Yes. I mean, I still feel like we have to do a little community type segment where outside of just Twitter topics, like we said, we have to work in, if the Twitter podcast thing doesn't work, somehow allow people to call in to this and just shoot the shit for a little bit and see what they have to say or what they want to talk about.
They can absolutely call into this. I have an idea. We can talk about it offline, how to make that work.
Okay. I'm all for that.
The only problem is at that point, then anyone can start jumping into. So it might get a little rowdy.
I mean, I'm not afraid of the dark, so maybe we send it.
Wait, are you not? Are you not afraid of the dark? Not even a little bit?
Oh, I mean, I'm terrified, but I just like to say that. It's
Okay.
like a reassurance thing,
Right. Tell me if you're the same way. You're walking up the stairs. It's dark. The whole house is like, well,
first
lights are off.
I'm never in that situation.
Oh, you avoid it completely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally the light switches are strategically placed, so it's there's one within arm's reach, and if there's not, it's going and getting turned on before the last one is turned off.
Okay, so we are all the same. We're all the same people.
Correct.
my childhood house growing up, I couldn't do that. The hallway light switch that I had to turn off to go from the stairs to my bedroom, there was like a 7-foot gap, and it was like, turn it off and you start walking and you start like doing that quick little run. You get a little scared.
That 7-foot gap is basically me buying pudgies at 4 ETH. That's how scary that is.
Yeah, horrifying. The thing is with pudgies though, did you see their new tweet about their board of like penguins they've made now and all the people that are in that thing?
Wait, what?
They made like a board of penguins. It's like, the board of directors, but it's a board of penguins.
Oh,
they tweeted a picture of it out, and every penguin had a name tag of the person and their like role, whether it's in Web3 or like in their Web2 job. And it was some big name people.
Interesting.
Like I remember reading through it and saying, okay, wow, like you guys are actually doing something.
Wow. What are they? Yeah. What comes from that? Are they, I mean, I know they've talked about making toys and that type of stuff, but I don't know. Don't see 100% the staying power for something like that. But
I don't either. But if they can pull something off, it seems like they were gathering a strong group of people to push it in a direction. And Pudgies was that project that kind of got abandoned by Ethersole, I think.
Interesting.
It was.
Yeah. I think I remember that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. He left the project, got voted out or something, and a lot of people weren't happy about it. I've tried to avoid all this news after we missed them at 0.02.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was crazy to see that all unfold. But that's what makes this run even crazier, right? So. Just all around.
Oh, dude.
A redemption arc, basically, which is why you can't be mad at it.
Huge. But it gives me false hope for other things that I know will not redeem themselves.
I mean, yeah, I tweeted about winter bears, so.
Hey, they're coming back, man. They're going to come back. Don't worry.
Yeah,
remember when XBT Digital Art Chick said there's a Coca-Cola ad in the making? I'm waiting for it. God.
It's coming.
Someday.
It'll definitely come, and I'll be here to sell into it. Oh my God. We'll see what happens.
I got a text from my bank as you said that.
Oh boy. Are they talking about NFTs or what?
No, my credit card was charged at a gas station.
While we're recording.
Unclear.
Perfect.
I mean, I am sitting here. My credit card's in my wallet, which allegedly is here with me.
You know what Bitcoin solves that, right?
Can I purchase gasoline with Bitcoin?
Yes.
Oh, then fuck me. I don't need the credit card, apparently.
There's literally any Bitcoin maxi. Oh, well, Bitcoin solves that problem, dude.
Yeah, I set up push alerts for like every transaction over a certain amount of dollars. Thinking, like I will never have my credit card stolen because I'll always know when something gets charged to it. And then I learned that the alerts come several hours later. So it's a situation of like, oh, did I purchase gas several hours ago? Could this be me or does someone have it right now?
Well, did you get gas today?
I did, but I don't know if it was at a Shell station or not.
I'm pretty sure we just figured it out on air. So,
but these texts will come like at 3 a.m. and wake me up, and I'm like, oh no, holy shit.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a service I would immediately unsubscribe to.
Oh, horrible, right? In theory, like this is phenomenal. Then it starts happening, and you're saying, how could this be any worse?
Okay, I mean, how it gets worse is when you're like, hey, I'm going on vacation, I'm going to be here, and they still are like, oh, hey, by the way, we saw you made a charge outside of your normal area, so we completely deactivated your account. But we'll be back open in 3 days, and you can call us and get it all good then. It's like, oh,
I don't want to use this card anyway. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Not like I gave you a heads up or anything.
Man, I went on a trip this summer actually, and my girlfriend was trying to pull out money from like the ATM, and there's an Uber driver waiting because like the guy only took cash, and I didn't bring any cash because it's 2022. I don't believe in cash. Like just take my digital money and my credit cards. So we're sitting here trying to pull money out of this ATM, and she comes back to the car and she's like, hey, like the card isn't working. Like, I don't know what to do. And I said, like, try this card. And she can't get these cards to work. And it comes back and she's like, oh, I was trying my credit cards. I was like, oh, no. This is not what just happened. You were not trying to pull money out of the credit card account from an ATM. But this was like a 10-minute scenario where like she's at the ATM. I'm in this Uber, like thinking like this guy thinks like we're trying to scam him. Like I feel uncomfortable. I'm watching this play out. Like how did we not prepare for this situation?
Oh, yeah.
But Bitcoin solves that is what I'm hearing.
I was just going to say that. Bitcoin solves that. Okay. So you're good.
Dude, thank God. Actually, on that topic, did you see that MasterCard is trying to roll out cryptocurrency transactions to 90 million stores?
I did see that, and it's through Binance, I think.
Yeah, huge.
So
Awesome.
How does something like that work, you think? Like you hook up your Binance account to your MasterCard? Or are we just going to not care about that part? Because honestly, the news sounds better than like actually thinking about it.
No, I think it's a good question. I think it's as simple as like you go like log into your online banking to like check your balance, your statement, or what have you, or pay your bill.
Yeah.
You can just probably connect a wallet to it that you can pull
and
funds
you can
out of.
pay your MasterCard bill via Binance. Interesting.
Or even simpler. Yeah, because like you can go and like connect a checking account to a savings and et cetera.
Absolutely. That makes a ton of sense.
I'm sure you can actually probably have it pulled directly from a cryptocurrency account as well. Like behind the scenes, it's all just a handful of like code to run, essentially, like some functions to run.
God, I just can't wait for being able to live life fully on chain and like,
oh my God,
actually being your own bank. I mean, we're close, but the reliance on like the on off ramps is still just an annoying part. And it just like it's like always a little nerve wracking, wondering if it's going to go through, wondering if your bank's all of a sudden going to be like in a bad mood that day and like, hit you with the nightmare scenario of canceling you as a customer. Because I've seen that many times. I
think you felt that once.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah,
I think we covered that one episode.
Yeah. We're not even going to get into it, but that's probably your credit card company right there, huh?
I hope not, because I have not made another purchase. I only got gas.
Another tank of gas, by the way.
Oh, that would be the worst.
Yeah, but I can't wait. I can't wait for that day. Fully live life on chain. It'll be dangerous because I'll just like literally. I feel like I'll spend more because I'll just ape. I'll buy an NFT that's 1 ETH. I think, oh, it's 1 ETH, and then that's $2,000. So it's like, oh, okay, well, there we go. And then I'll go to the store and be like, no, I'm not buying that pair of shoes right there. It's like $200. No chance. I'll buy the $80 ones.
Yeah, a $200 transaction on a credit card is way different than on like a cryptocurrency wallet. And I don't understand why, but it gets me all the time.
Oh my God. My brain is like, you gotta, my brain doesn't understand it. It's like it fully will. It might never. So that's a problem. But
no. Well, it's like in the height of Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, sorry, Ethereum at like 4.8K. Like a new iPhone was like 0.2 Ethereum, brand new iPhone, and that fucked with me a little bit.
Right. Because think about that. We were tossing a ton of ETH at just random dog coins or NFT mints, and so.
Dude, at the other side,
more
the
than
2 ETH transaction cost for the other side mint, that would have been 10 iPhones.
Yeah, and imagine having 10 iPhones.
And just putting them in a blender.
Right.
And being like, I'm going to blend these because I want that digital picture.
Just because.
Bonkers to think about. It actually bothers me the more I think about it.
Yeah, we should probably just like kind of stop there because that's going to piss me off.
I want to touch on other side though, because I love that people hate on other side all the time and call it a huge, like a rug or like a money sink.
Skamaz, yeah.
Yeah, but what a profitable mint.
Oh my God. Well, so
insane.
Oh yeah. Well, but they took all the ape coin and put it, like they locked it away, right?
Oh, I mean for the minters. And that's where like I see the communities around Twitter kind of attack as saying like, other side was such a shit show and, how do you make money from that? But everyone failed to realize that you might have spent a total of 4 ETH to buy a plot. Mm-hmm. And those plots were 8 ETH before they revealed.
Right. And then when they revealed, they were still around like 4 for a while.
Yeah. You were always safe to get into profit or even take your profit.
Yeah.
Absolve your risk.
Could have been extremely profitable off of that mint.
Yeah, anytime I see like negative news about the mint, I'm always just thinking, you don't get it, do you? Like, I understand how your NFT trades go now.
Did you see that they're going to do an Eminem Snoop Dogg concert in the other side, and you have to have a land plot to go?
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, because they're dropping the whole music video and everything at the VMAs. I think this Sunday. I'm not sure on the date, but
yeah, I saw the VMA thing.
Yeah, then they're announcing that they're going to do a concert in the other side.
Okay, sweet. So does that mean I will be drinking by myself at my laptop? I'm very confused how that will work.
That whole thing has yet to be worked out in my head. Like, you know, do you have like friends over and toss it on the big screen, or are you just vibing out to headphones and drinking at your desk? I mean, I don't knock either one, but it is interesting to think about.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a good question. I know Fortnite did a Marshmallow concert in the game, and the first time they did that, I heard about it and said that's the coolest thing I've ever heard of.
Right. But you know, it's funny, like how they crack down on illegal streaming and like reproducing things. It would be so hilarious if you were like, yeah, I'm going to toss on the big screen at my party. Then somehow they're like, well, does everyone have an other side plot?
Oh,
like a pay-per-view event. I mean, I guess pay-per-view you could do it and have a bunch of friends over, so that's kind of a moot point, but funny to think about.
They have a token tracker on your eyesight. We've officially reached brave new world levels of cryptocurrency.
That is some Black Mirror type shit.
Speaking of which, I had to stop watching that show because it got too close to home.
I mean, they stopped making that show because it got too close to home.
Oh, did they really? I didn't know that.
They stopped making it when we went into quarantine because it would have been too real for people.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think it's coming back, but it was essentially like, hey, I don't think anyone's mental psyche can handle this show right now, so we're gonna put it on hold.
Did you ever watch the Bandersnatch movie that Black Mirror did? Where you could like select. Whoa.
Oh,
what?
Yeah. I don't think I went through the whole thing though.
Dude, super cool concept.
Yeah. Whereas like an interactive thing on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's like a choose your own adventure movie.
I mean,
very fun.
Right. You got to think that, I don't know, somehow crypto goes mainstream with these type of like interactive things.
You mean I can't even think of how crypto could make a choose.
No, but of course, but yet. You know, it's gonna get in there somehow.
That's true.
Okay, let's just roll with it.
It'll happen. It's gonna happen.
We're not creating a problem that doesn't need one, you know, or creating a solution for a problem that doesn't exist, but we might be.
We're creating a problem that we need solutions for. So
correct.
We're just creating new jobs.
See, and then you go back to the point I made about your own bank, and it's like, okay, he might not be completely off his rocker.
Exactly.
Right.
It's starting to make sense. We're stimulating the economy with more jobs for problems we created.
Right. I mean, we didn't even touch on the student loan thing, but
oh, dude, let's touch on that. Super fucking cool.
Yeah. People. I mean, I don't have any student loans, so I get nothing. But
yeah,
it was funny to see. It's just there's so many polarizing reactions on any type of event, but this one definitely pulled out a lot of reactions from people and emotions.
Dude, where? I looked for them. I like went out of my way and searched for bad takes.
Did you not see the threads about people basically being like, this is such a bullshit thing. I don't know why they would do this. And then someone would say, this you in the comments. And it was a link to their PPP loan that was fully forgiven.
Shut the fuck up.
In the millions of dollars, by the way.
No way.
There was a thread that was about, I want to say 200 plus people long, of people dunking on anyone that did that. And they went and looked them up on the PPP site and saw how much they took out loans and were forgiven for and just said, this you?
Dude, what?
Yeah. Multiple pages of scrolling on the feed.
I just don't understand how you could have a bad reaction to that. Like, it's the same thing of like, if you make a good trade, good for you. Something good happened to you, good for you. Like,
I know.
Why the fuck would I be mad about that?
I mean, it doesn't affect me. It does. I don't really care. So like, there's probably people who, I don't know, who cares, but maybe there's political reasons people care, but don't care.
I'm just happy when good things happen to people, man.
Yeah. It's funny because I saw someone be like, yeah, my boy took out $8,000 and yeeted it into Robinhood and of a student loan, and now he just basically got $8,000 free of stocks.
That's clever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he did that. Basically, I think the tweet was like kind of leading to that he thought this was coming and did it in anticipation. So it wasn't like after the fact, because I don't think it would. I think it was like at a certain date, right?
I didn't know you could get a student loan if you weren't like using it for school.
Well, I think maybe they were in school. I don't know. I'm probably assuming a ton here now. But.
No, I think you're right. My buddy, he had bought a car at one point, not like an expensive car, just like a car in college, and he had a car loan for it, and then he took out a student loan and paid off his car loan with a student loan because it had a lower interest rate.
Genius.
And then used the rest of the student loan towards a school and then worked to pay for school. So I think you can do some finagling.
Yeah. It makes sense. But, if you know money, and why not? Like, might as well take advantage of any tool you can get your hands on.
I love it.
But do you think we catch a bid in the market because of that?
No. Why? No. Hell no.
No. Just an interesting event. But it's funny how everyone tries to equate that back.
I think anything that happens positively right now with the economy in any capacity, if it could be spun in a positive way, it gets spun towards crypto next. I just don't know.
I mean, it's like me and basically being like, oh yeah, that Netflix show. Yeah, how could we work crypto into that? You know what I mean? It's exactly that.
Absolutely. But I think a lot of them don't meet. Like, there's no way like a student loan forgiveness could meet crypto bullishness.
No, I don't think so.
The stimulus check thing, now that you gave everyone free money to do whatever they wanted with, that one I could understand.
Yeah. I mean, plus you gave out PPP loans and no one was doing anything with their businesses, so they were just yeeting it into the stock market.
True.
And that was big money.
I loved when all that stuff came out too, of like who got the money and like what it was, not what it was used for, but who got it. And you're looking at that like
it was a dunk fest on the timeline.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, shit, man. This was an episode that we had to do because Up only recorded today, so this is a counterbalance to the markets. So you're welcome, everyone.
I tweeted that at them, and I was like, "Don't worry, it won't crash. We're doing an episode tonight."
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Please.
At some point, everyone will know about it
as we usher in the new era of bullishness.
Correct.
Can you imagine what this is going to be like in a bull market when it's like euphoria?
Yeah, I mean, when we have a segment where people come on to, it's going to be hilarious.
Oh, it's going to be nuts. Someone's going to come here and be like, I put my entire life savings in like rocket wieners.
Yeah, and you know what? That person is going to literally make $1 billion, and we're just sitting here like, shit, I remember that guy that came on talking about rocket wieners, and we didn't even do anything.
That's the beauty of all of it.
I know. It's literally going to be such an amazing journey. But, I mean, shit, episode 10, that's kind of a milestone. So, if you're still rocking with us, even to this point of the podcast, like, shit, that's a miracle. But we appreciate you. It's been fun, and here's to the next 10 and, the next 100, really.
Oh, yeah. Not stopping.
No. But thanks for listening, and we'll have some more content for you guys soon. We always say we're going to up the frequency, but here we are.
Someday we will.
We will. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Farewell.
Peace.